Chairman of the Board of Directors of the North San Juan Fire District.
Thanks a lot, and thank you all for coming out. This is a community event. We like to think of ourselves in the district and the department as being a community. And you can tell by all the folks that are here that you'll hear from that they take it very seriously when we have water stolen from our water tanks that the fire department depends on. It can affect anybody, anytime. You need a truck to come with your you got a fire in your house, and we have no water. That's a big catastrophe. So there are a bunch of people here who know a lot more about the details than I do, beginning with our chief, Boyd Johnson.
I'm the battalion chief with the North San Juan Fire Department, and this has come about because of our discovery of a theft of water from our tanks located here in North San Juan. We're a large fire protection district. We're about 70 miles, which is 3 times the size of Manhattan Island, to put that in some kind of perspective. And we're protected by about 20 people who have to cover this territory in case of a wildland fire. Our nearest assistance comes from the California Division of Forestry, which is located about 13 miles from here. And we transport limited amounts of water in our fire trucks and depend on regional water tank systems in order to refill during the course of fires. And not only do we refill from these tanks, but mutual aid departments, engines will be using our tank setups as well if we have major fire. Within less than a year ago, we had the Tyler fire, in which we lost a house off of Highway 49 in Tyler Foot. And during the course of that event, which lasted about 20 hours, we used most of the water in our tanks in the local area. And that was a relatively small fire, only 1 structure loss. So this is a critical issue for us. We want to put a stop to it and do whatever we can to prepare for the possibility that this kind of activity may continue into the future. And so we're at the point of kind of fact-finding and strategizing about what it is that we need to do in order to see that this doesn't happen again. The unfortunate element of this is that, part of having fire water there is having a hydrant that you can hook up to right away without nonsense. And now we're looking at things like lock boxes over the valves and other things, which are going to make it harder and slower for us in order to fight fire, and are also in particular going to hamper mutual aid resources that come in here and may not have keys to these things. We're going to have to go around and unlock access. And then another concern is that we believe that this has begun to happen to private water supply tanks around the community, which we also depend on. And those tanks are not as carefully policed as our tanks. We're afraid that we're going to show up and find that the tank in front of your house, which we're depending on to protect your house with, is empty. So it's a host of problems for us, and we're working on a solution for them.
Who wants to chime in here with their concerns?
I'll speak up as well. My name is James Berardi. I'm the superintendent principal of Twin Ridges Elementary School District. We were hit about 4 weeks ago. Someone came and took about 6,000 gallons out of our tanks at the Grizzly Hill School. That was over a whole weekend, so I believe it was probably happening in multiple trucks, or one truck came multiple times. Also, they hit another building we own, which is the FRC building at Oak Tree School right down the road over here. They've been hitting water there. So it's terrible that they're hitting the fire department, but it's a local issue. They're hitting everybody that can get access and water to. Who it is, we don't know. The idea of being here today, I hope that we can get it out, put it out in the public, and we can get some feedback and find out who it is, because basically we want to put an end to this. We're in the middle of a massive drought. The potential for fire and the hazard it creates is terrible. I'd be devastated if we had a fire at the school or anywhere near there and we couldn't use our water. It wasn't available. So it's a community-wide thing. They've also been hit at the cultural center up the road. And so they're hitting all kinds of big tanks and big access all over the community. I'm just here to support the process of trying to put an end to this, and we hope it comes soon.
Saul?
Yeah. My name is Saul Henson. I'm the president of the San Juan Ridge Taxpayers Association. And I guess we're looking at this from a broader perspective of land use and water resources on the San Juan Ridge, and so we're addressing the water resource issues that this drought is really severely impacting right now, and so our concerns are about people, whether you have formal or informal industry out here that are using water resources that are meant for other people. So whether that's our fire department, our schools, and also for individual property owners. And so we're also dealing with industries such as local mines that could be opening up that are going to be taking a lot of resources from our community. And in the end, if we're in a situation where we have really stressed water resources, stressed wells, then we're even going to impact our ability to fight wildland fires or fight fires here in our community. So it's a major issue and something that needs to be addressed.
So we are primarily interested in seeing it stop. We want the community to know that it's an important thing. It's not just an inconvenience. It's a potential disaster. We are not particularly interested in sending people to jail. We want it to stop. But the sheriff has been notified, and it is potentially a serious crime. So let the community help us, and we'll put it into this. Anybody else?
I would like to say something. And I'm Diana Pasquini. I'm from the San Juan Ridge Family Resource Center. We provide social services to a very diverse community. I arrived at work one day to find our hose cut. So obviously, someone came and helped themselves to our water as well. And last evening, the evening of August 6th, we had a San Juan Ridge Community Council meeting, which is also a meeting of a very broad, diverse range of the community. And the community council designated the water thefts as the #1 issue right now on the San Juan Ridge. And if anybody who hears or sees this broadcast, sees anything, please write down the make and model of the vehicle, the license number, and the location, and get it to the Nevada County Sheriff's Office.
Christopher?
Just add on to, if we have a big wildland fire here, a structure fire, and we pull up to one of our water tanks, and we don't have any water, and someone has been stealing the water, the potential consequences, legal consequences for those people could be quite severe. If we don't have water to fight the fires, people could get hurt. We're gonna lose a lot of infrastructure and potentially lose lives. So if they hear this, they need to take that into consideration, the seriousness of the situation.
Caleb, do you want to?
Sure, thank you. Well, first of all, I just want to commend the North San Juan Fire Department and the community just passing Measure Q for supporting it. Having grown up here on the Ridge, we know how beloved and how necessary having our volunteer fire department be equipped and ready to take care of us when they need them, when we need them. And so the idea that there might be a fire at my house and that I would call for help, that your water trucks would be empty because someone stole it, is one of the most horrific and terrifying thoughts that you can have. And growing up in fire country, we know that that's not a question of if, that's just a question of when. And we count on our firefighters to take care of us and be there. And you know, this is the type of thing that it boggles the mind. It's so shocking and reprehensible. You know, I think the issue for all of us with water is it is a scarce resource and never more scarce than in a drought. And my organization, the South Yuba River Citizens League, we've been around for 31 years with over 3,500 members, many of whom are here today, because we want to protect the Yuba River and protect this community's resource, the water, and create stewardship and a sense of stewardship. And quite frankly, stealing is not stewardship, and we need to stop it.